Hello everybody, and welcome back to my home here in East Tennessee on this beautiful December day. Wow, this year went by so fast. I did a video a few weeks ago about my Dracaena Marginata cuttings that I rooted in a glass vase, and my friend Marianne had some questions for me about how I care for my Dracaenas. I've had these for about 20 years. They're not hard to grow, but you do need to know certain things about them for them to grow well. We're coming into winter, so the care for them is different than in the spring and in the summer when they're in active growth. This time of the year in East Tennessee, we don't get nearly as many daylight hours in the late fall and winter, and that affects how you care for them. So I also had to share with you my beautiful pink Thanksgiving cactus. This is kind of the buddy of my Dracaena Marginata. That's one of the best things about growing Dracaenas. The foliage provides a really pretty backdrop for any plants that you have that are in flower. Their green foliage and the spikiness of the leaves is just it's just a really interesting play off of a flowering plant. One thing to keep in mind about these plants is that they grow like their name implies. They grow like a dragon. They grow really tall and very wide with these plumes growing every which way so that they look like a Chinese dragon. They don't keep their leaves on the bottom of their stalks. Do you see how there's nothing on the bottom of the stalks of these plants? They shed their leaves from the bottom, and you kind of get this top-heavy plant. Let me just show you. Whoops, it starts getting dark. Believe me, this thing is like 9 feet tall. So you get the idea. This guy is quite big. It's just the way that they grow. I keep pulling leaves off of mine fairly often. They just turn brown and they shrivel up, and it's part of the upkeep of the plant to keep them groomed. Sometimes they shed their leaves pretty profusely, but it's nothing to be concerned about if the plant is healthy. And as you see, this guy is very, very healthy. The roots of these plants are white and stringy, as you can see from these cuttings. They don't like to be standing in water in their pots when they're potted in a potting soil. They don't like wet feet, and the roots will rot if they're not in a well-draining soil or if there's a lot of water left in their dish. One way to cause the demise of your plant is to overwater it. You can tell if they don't get enough water. They kind of let you know by drooping. So it's good to keep an eye on them and keep them on a regular watering schedule. This time of the year, in the fall and winter, I water them about once a week, and I fertilize them once a month. In the spring and summer when they're growing, I fertilize them twice a month. Mine aren't growing much this time of the year, so I'm just maintaining their growth right now. And then in the spring, when they start growing again, I adjust the fertilizer back to normal to keep up with the growth because they grow very fast. What I do is I use the runoff fertilizer from my orchids to fertilize them with. They grow in my house in an eastern-facing window that gets morning sunlight, and they don't like direct, hot sunlight. It will just brown the leaves. They don't like cold either, so they're in my house all year long at a temperature range between 70 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. These are very easy to root in the spring. I wouldn't take cuttings right now because they'll probably just rot in the water, but wherever you cut on the plant, it's just going to grow a new growth with that plume-like foliage, and it is fascinating to watch the foliage grow. This Dracaena that I just showed you that's growing in my sunroom, it started with just the wooded part, from here to here, down in water. Do you see these little protrusions right here, these little nubs? If you put these down in water, they will grow roots. It is fascinating to watch them. It was just about 6 inches long when it first rooted, and I have to prop it up in this corner or it would fall because they do grow top heavy. And I just want to give you all one more view of this one so that you can kind of see the scale of mine. This one is a large Dracaena. The largest one I've ever seen is in the Opryland Conservatory in Nashville. When you stand off to a distance or you look at it from the catwalk above the plant, it looks exactly like a dragon. So I'll place a link in the description box below if you'd like to see that video. It is a magnificent plant, and I spend a lot of time looking at it when I'm there. So I think I've gone over everything I can think of to tell you about growing Dracaenas. I hope this tutorial has really helped you all. If I've missed something or you have a question, just leave it in the comments below and I will be happy to answer it for you. And before we go, I'd love to say the blessing over you, your families, and your plants. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Make His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn His face towards you and give you and your families His peace. You all make it a great day. We'll see you next time.